Like it sounds like there's everybody out here is so afraid of what's going on. I mean, my experience has been if somebody tries to crack down on Twitter, well, Twitter responds. There's a really warm community of people out there. I mean, more visibility is great. If someone is trying to persecute you for something you said on Twitter, well, just keep on saying it, and then people like me will retweet it, and then 4,000 other people will be like, holy crap, we've got to stop that happening. Like, you know, there's a really warm community on social media, particularly on Twitter, and I think that a lot of these sort of fears about things like, you know, being taken out of context or your employer or whatever can be resolved if you realise that the conversation is warm and that it rewards openness, and you're not going to get these sort of like even cease and desist letters. I mean, like the best thing to do with a cease and desist letter, if you can possibly get around to it, like defamation letter, it's just to publish it, and usually the legal threat goes away. I mean, you see that happening in the US quite a lot. But I feel like these sort of threats against Twitter and worries about it, you know, the community often will resolve these problems themselves. And I've seen it happen time and time again. So it's a warm conversation, not one people fear, is what I guess I'm trying to say.
As a true user that's actually been threatened with defamation by an ex-employer, I felt the importance that obviously truth is a defence in defamation cases, but it won't avoid you the legal expense. So obviously, anything you post in the public domain will come back and bite you if you say something that pisses somebody off. It doesn't have to be something they've got grounds to sue you on. It just has to be something that pisses them off enough to follow it up.
You know, but the same can be said of, you know, just being a jerk in public. You know what I mean? So, you know, a lot of it goes back to you just, you know, use good judgment and be a good person, and you know, you're not gonna. I don't know. I mean, I guess it seems oversimplistic, but you've got to be doing things that the average person's not going to do to get yourself in that fight. You know.
Hello. Maybe I can come back on the journalist link bait that Kathy put out there. On the question of the psychiatrist, well, we've got the right to say whatever we think. The answer is you have. Yeah, but that's the question. The point that Kathy seems to be making is the journalist shouldn't have the right to report it, which seems a slight sort of contradiction of terms when it comes to free speech. Sadly, you haven't got the microphone, Kathy. Oh no, you haven't.
Can I just clarify? I think that there's a difference between public interest and public domain.
Yeah. I think that's an important point. Do you, after a tweet about a blog post, you might have done think this is a, you know, a marketing tweet, or this is a personal tweet. I mean, that's just one of the things I've noticed about Twitter. It's not just about private communication. It's a promotional tool.
And I think it's important for us to mix it up a bit at Twitter. We don't all want to hear about the bad things. We all want companies to be a bit more humanised and to know about the people who work for them. I think we might be coming to the conclusion now. Are there any last comments from the panel?
Just in relation between public and private, when you've written something, what's the button you push to actually get it to go forward?
Facebook has the button.
The word's published. It's published.
Or viral.
Just some last words for that. No, I mean, it's good to be up here and chat more about this stuff. And we focus a lot on the negative stuff, which we kind of have a habit of doing in these kinds of things, which is understandable because it's always more interesting to talk about the negative stuff. But there's a couple of interesting tweets I just wanted to mention that had some kind of more interesting non-negative questions about what happens to people who build brands on Twitter and then take it with them across different employers and all of that stuff. Maybe we'll get a chance to talk about that at some point in the near future for digital citizens as well, because it's a huge field and area that's not quite as, not negative, just, you know, not quite as controversial as this kind of stuff, but it's still a really interesting area. What happens when, you know, you go to a company, build a brand, help the brand, and then take it with you as you move employers or change industries or whatever? What do you reckon?
It's a great question. It's really not clear. I mean, I think you're just starting to have employees develop valuable brands themselves, and there's not policies of it. I mean, the truth is, the employers are so naive to social media, they don't recognize the value their employees are building in individual brands that they're building for the company. So it is going to be a big deal, but it's not yet because, you know, the people in charge don't realize. Right? That's a great question.
Because it's just a very short response. It would be just fucking deal with it. Like
The response was just fucking deal with it.
But it's always happened as well. So you've always had
Yeah.
star employees.
You've always had star employees and safety audiences and stuff. I still think we should sign the rights away to companies. And I think we'll leave it tonight on that note, and I hope you continue your discussions around drinks.